The mystery of money supply, unlocking the secrets behind your wallet. Alright folks, today we're diving into the world of money, real money. Not monopoly money, not that fake gold doubloon your friend found at the beach, but the kind of money that keeps the wheels of our economy turning. We're talking about the money supply. If you're thinking, what in the world is that? Don't worry, you're not alone. Most people don't exactly walk around wondering about M1 and M2. But here's the kicker. If you've ever wondered why prices rise, why your savings account isn't making you rich, or why the Federal Reserve keeps making headlines, then understanding the money supply is like finding the secret sauce to the economy. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll feel like a financial Sherlock Holmes, minus the deerstalker hat, unless you're into that. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, ugh, economics, snooze fest. Hold on, we're going to make this fun, informative, and dare I say it, entertaining. I know, finance, entertaining, but trust me on this one. Buckle up, because we're about to crack the code on how money really works. First things first, there's no ideal money supply. That's right, there's no magic number of dollars that makes the economy run smoothly. The Federal Reserve is like the Goldilocks of central banks. They're constantly trying to get it just right. Too much money and we get inflation. Too little and the economy slows down faster than your Wi-Fi on a rainy day. Either way, the Fed has to juggle all these factors, keeping the economy on its feet. And let me tell you, it's no small task. But what is the money supply exactly? Well, it's not just the cash in your wallet. That loose change rattling around in your car's cup holder isn't the whole picture. The money supply is like an onion. There are layers, M0, M1, M2, and for the real econ nerds out there, M3. Each layer represents a different level of liquidity, fancy word for how fast you can spend it. Let's peel back those layers. First up, M0, the most basic, liquid form of money. Think cash, cold, hard cash, the stuff you could physically hold in your hand. This is the kind of money you might use when you realize the vending machine doesn't take cards. And suddenly, your last dollar bill becomes your most valuable possession. It's coins, it's bills, and it's sitting right there in your wallet, or maybe under your couch cushions. If you're anything like me, there's always some change lurking down there. But here's where it gets fun. Cash isn't everything. In fact, M0 is just the start. Enter M1. Think of M1 as M0's cooler, more functional cousin. M1 includes all that cash, plus the money sitting in your checking account. Now, we're talking about the money you can swipe with a debit card, write a check for, if people still do that, or transfer in a flash to pay for pizza night. Basically, M1 is money you can spend at a moment's notice. It's the get out of jail free card for your wallet. If M0 is a bottle of water, M1 is a water balloon. It's ready to go when you are. But wait, there's more. M2. Now we're getting fancy. M2 is everything in M1, plus some extras that aren't quite as easily spendable, but still there if you need them in a pinch. Think savings accounts, small time deposits, and money market accounts. These are like your emergency funds. You don't just break them out for anything, but they're there, sitting quietly in the background, ready to come to your rescue when your car decides to break down for the third time this month. And now, drum roll, the big kahuna, M3. Now, M3 is the broadest measure of money supply, and here's where we get into the deep stuff. It includes all of M2, plus large time deposits, institutional money market funds, and other big-time assets. Basically, if M0 is the spare change in your pocket, M3 is the retirement fund of a Fortune 500 CEO. It's money, but it's locked up tighter than a drum. You can't just whip it out and buy groceries with it, unless your grocery store is very forward-thinking. Now, why does all this matter? Well, picture this. If the Fed pushes too much money into the economy, we get inflation. Suddenly, your dollar is like that single slice of pizza you regret ordering. It's smaller, but somehow costs more. But if there's too little money, it's like trying to squeeze toothpaste out of an empty tube. The economy slows down, businesses stop growing, people stop spending, and boom, we've got a recession on our hands. Think about it this way. Imagine you're hosting a party. If you don't have enough snacks, people are going to leave early. But if you've got too many snacks, well, Everyone's eating too much, and suddenly no one's dancing because they're too full. The Fed has to find that sweet spot where there's just the right amount of money flowing. No one's starving, but no one's overstuffed either. And before you ask, no, printing more money is not the answer. Sure, it sounds tempting. Just print a bunch of $100 bills and hand them out like party favors. But that would be like adding too much water to soup. Sure, there's more soup, but now it tastes like soggy cardboard. You get more money, but it's worth less. In the worst case scenario, we're talking hyperinflation, where a loaf of bread costs more than a Netflix subscription. And we're all shopping with wheelbarrows of cash. Not exactly ideal, right? So, how does the Fed control the money supply? Enter monetary policy. The Fed's got two main tools in their toolbox: interest rates and open market operations. Lower interest rates, and people start borrowing money like it's Black Friday at the bank. Higher interest rates, and suddenly borrowing money feels like signing up for a marathon without training. Painful. The Fed can also buy and sell government bonds to either pump money into the economy or pull it back out. It's a delicate dance, but when done right, it keeps everything humming along smoothly. The Fed basically has to be like a ninja, swift, precise, and able to leap tall piles of economic data in a single bound. Now, while the Fed's busy balancing the money supply, we've got another important piece of the puzzle: liquid assets. You know how some things in life are easier to get rid of than others, like that sweater you bought 3 years ago and still haven't worn. Very easy to let go. But your childhood baseball card collection? Not so much. Well, money works the same way. Some assets are super easy to turn into cash, others not so much. Liquid assets are like that sweater. Cash, checking accounts, stocks, bonds. They can be quickly converted into money without breaking a sweat. Illiquid assets? Think real estate or that oil painting your aunt gave you. They can be turned into cash, but it's going to take a lot more time and effort. So, when you hear people talk about liquidity, what they're really saying is, how fast can I turn this into cold, hard cash? And trust me, having liquid assets is like having a financial superhero in your back pocket. Need cash for an emergency? Boom, liquid assets to the rescue. That's why it's important to keep a balance between liquid and illiquid assets. Too many illiquid assets, and your financial flexibility is tighter than a pair of skinny jeans after Thanksgiving dinner. Alright, so what have we learned today? The money supply is a lot like a well-orchestrated party. You need the right mix of ingredients to keep things going smoothly. Too much money, and we get inflation. Too little, and we're in a recession. M0, M1, M2, and M3 all represent different layers of money, from the cash in your pocket to institutional assets sitting in giant vaults somewhere. And liquid assets are the key to being able to access your money when you need it most. The Federal Reserve has a tough job, but now you've got a peek behind the curtain. Next time someone mentions inflation or why interest rates are going up, you can nod confidently and say, "Ah yes, I'm familiar with the intricacies of monetary policy and the delicate balancing act of liquidity in our modern economy." And they'll either be impressed or ask you to explain more, which is when you can just send them this video. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for sticking around as we unraveled the mystery of the money supply. Remember, keep your financial life balanced, just like the economy. And if all else fails, at least now you know what M1, M2, and M3 are. Because trust me, they're way more interesting than your grocery store receipt. Catch you next time. Stay smart, stay informed, and keep your money working for you.